Food Bank, Peter Vogel. Peter, welcome to JTV.
Thank you very much, Bart. Thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah, great to have you here. And of course, we're talking about food supply, food insecurity. The last few weeks, due to some uncertainties with federal and state programs. But first, let's bring our viewers up to date on what South Michigan Food Bank is.
Yeah, so we're the food bank, right? Kind of different from a food pantry, and I think people get confused by that sometimes. We're really the warehouse end of things. We're trying to acquire as much food as we possibly can. And then we serve 8 counties, including Jackson, and we have about 380 to 390 distribution partners, mostly food pantries, but soup kitchens and homeless shelters and some other places. And we provide them, for the most part, most of their food.
It used to be called the Food Bank of South Central Michigan, and when you came on board, you shortened the name a little bit.
We did a little bit. We actually I got a lot of feedback from some of the counties thinking they would tell us they didn't really feel like they were South Central Michigan. So we just kind of broadened it up and shortened the name and made it a little easier.
And for many years, we did here at JTV participate in some food and fundraisers, knowing that whatever we were able to help the food bank with, it benefited the local community.
Absolutely. And now's a great time for that.
Yeah. So let's talk about, well, first of all, SNAP. Is that just the new modern name for what, food stamps?
Yeah, they changed the name of food stamps a while back, and it's called SNAP. It's a pretty big program, and obviously there have been some significant changes in it. And yeah, so right now, I guess I'm not even sure exactly the status. It's changed so frequently.
Yeah.
We've been trying to update, I'll just say this, we've been trying to update my distribution partners. We were in Jackson maybe a week or so ago, a meeting with all of our distribution partners, giving them updates as to what's going on, what to plan for, what the food bank's gonna do. And I've been trying to give them like weekly updates, and every time I write one up, some major thing changes and I have to kind of throw it away and start all over again. It's been a little chaotic.
One thing I have noticed over the last few weeks, it appears that our food pantries are seeing an increase in numbers in need.
Yeah, we're seeing it pretty significant across all 8 counties. Actually, to be really fair, all of the food banks in the United States are seeing something pretty similar, but we're seeing somewhere between 150 and 200%, probably more people attending. And I will just say this part, our challenge really is to get out as much food as we can. So the South Michigan Food Bank, under a couple of names, has been around for 44 years. Prior to COVID, the biggest distribution year we'd ever had was about 11 million pounds of food. We will be breaking that 11 million pound record now for the 5th consecutive year this year.
Wow.
But a lot of that has to do with food coming in, right? So I have a couple of major challenges. Last year, and pretty much every year since COVID, we've gotten about 1/3 of our food through federal programs. We got 34% last year, as an example. This year, we're sitting right at about 15% of the food we're getting in is from federal programs. There's a variety of federal programs, and not to get into all the acronyms, people don't need to know that. But so a little bit less than half of the federal food that I had received last year. And to add to that equation, as I talk to a lot of the grocery stores and the purchasers in grocery stores, because we pick up from the Meijers and the Walmarts and the Costco's and all of the grocery stores, or most of the bigger ones anyway. And rescue food 5 days a week. And we're still doing that. But the grocery stores are ordering so much more carefully. They're not over ordering anymore. So the extra food that they have, not to go to waste, but to donate to the food banks, which they do, is down pretty dramatically too. We're getting about half to 1/3 of what we used to get from the grocery stores for doing food rescue. So it's a challenge.
Yeah, it sounds like from all fronts too. So I remember earlier this year hearing about one of the efficiencies that DOGE came up with was, in Michigan, we're going to stop buying apples from Michigan apple orchards for school food. Is that an example of seeing less food being provided or paid for by the federal government?
Not exactly, right? So we have a special program. Schools have their own special programs getting food to them. We really work through the USDA, Department of Agriculture, and they have resources. They go out and look at the market and see what they can get and get good prices of and order it, and then they basically distribute it in, mostly through the food bank network, and get us food. But that's really how it works. They do it at a federal level. They identify what they can purchase. And it's been challenging the last couple of years. And as food costs have gone up, their purchasing power, just like everybody else, has
Yeah.
been shrinking a little too.
And really, that's your secret weapon, your purchasing power, because you're able to buy a lot more and get the quantity discounts, right?
We buy huge volumes of food, right? My budget, I have about $2 million every year in our budget just to acquire additional food. So we look to see what we get rescued, we look to see what we get from the federal government, and then we use our purchasing power to fill in the gaps. And that's really, really significant for us. And I will also say this too, we get asked a lot, how can we help? And things like food drives are really, really valuable, but I will simply tell you, don't go out into your grocery store and spend $100 on food and donate to us. It's much more effective to give us $100 because my buying power is so much stronger. I'm going to buy a truckload of cans of green beans or something, and we can acquire so much more for the same amount of money.
Yeah, plus we'll probably buy the wrong stuff.
Anything is helpful. I mean, honestly, at this stage, anything is helpful, but yes.
All right, so we have a need right now. There are families that are struggling. So you have, and we have, tomorrow an emergency food distribution at the Center for Family Health. What can you tell us about this, Peter?
Yeah, we're doing it tomorrow here in Jackson, and we're doing it the following Wednesday too, right? So we're doing them back to back in the same location, Center for Family Health. That really is state money that we were able to receive. So that was a really nice partnership between the governor and both parties to come together and say we really care about people in Michigan not going hungry. So they passed, agreed to give us $4.5 million. They gave it to the Food Bank Council of Michigan that kind of oversees the 7 food banks covering every county in Michigan. And I'm sharing that with some of our partners that are outside of that network too. But yeah, that's exactly what we're doing with those resources we use to acquire the food. So we're trying not to short, we have about 50 distribution partners that we provide food to here in Jackson County, and I don't want to shortchange any of them. We're not trying to open up new distributions and I'd have to pull the food from somewhere, and I don't want to pull it from our pantries that are doing great, fantastic work. But this is able to be additional food that we're able to bring in an emergency basis.
Yeah, we see, just this week here on JTV, we heard about the Brooklyn branch of the library adding a pantry. The East Jackson Community Schools just added a pantry. There are dozens and dozens. I guess, is this an evidence of the need, or is it just the community being more, I guess, generous?
Well, part of the reason we have more, and I guess I probably own some of that, if it's a problem or a benefit, I'm not sure. But a lot of the things that we did some real research around just looking at all kinds of demographics, poverty level, and we were able to pull that down into zip code areas. And then we looked where our distribution locations were in every one of our counties. And when we found areas that looked like they had a fair amount of need for food but didn't have a distribution partner, then we've been recruiting to add them into those areas. So people that are transportation challenged may still be able to walk to a place and be able to get the food that they need.
That's a great point, because I also heard that in Brooklyn's case, the Brooklyn food pantry, it's moved around a bit, and I think now it's actually at the Addison Firehouse on 12. So
I haven't been there, but I think that is where it is now.
Yeah. So how many, Jackson County, you keep stats, you do research.
A little bit.
There's quite a few people that are experiencing food insecurity.
There are, I think, what is the percentage of people in Jackson County that are food insecure? I think the number is about 15%.
15%.
Is it something like that?
Yeah, 15.
I thought that was about right.
15.2%. Food insecurity, that means that they don't know when their next food's coming from?
Food insecurity, the one measure that I always look at, means that there's 3 meals or more a week that they miss.
All right, well, that's significant, certainly.
Yeah, it
So-
is.
So how can we help? You know, people have been asking and offering. You know, in Michigan, there's 30,000 federal employees not getting paid
Right.
now.
Right.
So that's significant.
Yes.
Plus the SNAP people, and plus just overall, we are seeing prices at the supermarket, they're up.
Right.
Yeah. So how can the average citizen help with people that need food?
I mean, there's a couple of ways. We're getting a lot of volunteers. I will just say that. All of our distribution sites, even the ones that we're doing here in Jackson, people want to reach out to just go to our website, smfoodbank.org. and reach out if you'd like to be able to be part of that distribution and help. We've done a couple of distributions already. We did one in Kalamazoo, we did one in Calhoun County. We're excited about doing this one. That's a great way to do it. The other thing too is you can just go to our website and it's easy to donate. If you're interested in giving us $5 or $10 or $15, $20, what we're telling everybody right now is I've got all my bases covered. What I need is money to acquire more food. So 100% of any gifts that we're getting right now are going straight to food. And honestly, if people want to target it just into Jackson County, that's easy too. Just on the check that you write or a little note that you say, I would like this to be distributed only in Jackson County, we can do that really easily.
Okay.
We do that all the time.
And if you want to help, you can also help each individual pantry making gifts, and they also buy through you as well.
They do. We have some ways we basically have a shared maintenance fee in it, and an average it costs about 6 cents a pound for food. So there's a little bit of a cost on that end. But yeah, if you want to support a specific pantry, again, the easiest way to do it, because we're a not-for-profit organization, donate it to us and say I want it to the BART food pantry, right, in Jackson, and we put it right into their account. So then they have that access to purchase food with that money. It works pretty easily.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. Well, we sure appreciate you folks helping tomorrow with the emergency food distribution. Again, this is the Center for Family Health, 2 hours only, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And I would say show up early.
I would say you don't necessarily have to. We're doing a drive-through model, so they get some choice, but it's going to be pop the trunk and go through. We intentionally did it because at this time frame because we thought people might be able to break for lunch. Okay. And don't think that you can't get through the line. You know, don't have an hour to be able to get back to work. This will move fast.
All right.
So show up. We'll get you through quickly. And we'll get you the food you need. People that have families that need food, we're there for you.
Awesome. Peter, thanks to you and the Food Bank of Southern Michigan. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Peter Vogel, CEO of South Michigan Food Bank.